Hello, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and this is the parable of the wise builder. Uh, this is parable 52 out of 54. The 54 parables will be available in half an hour on my YouTube channel on a playlist called The Parables of Jesus. So you can go and watch each of the parables, maybe just put the parables on and have them play in the background while you do your washing up or do your chores around the house. Uh, I'm the author of 57 Christian books under the name Matthew Robert Payne on Amazon, and I'm also the author of 850 articles on eZine articles, E-Z-I-N-E articles.com. I'm also the creator of over 2,500 Christian videos on YouTube. So this is one of 54 parables on my playlist, and we're just going to share the screen now and we'll go through this parable. Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house upon the rock. And the rain descended, the floods came, the winds blew and beat on the house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like the foolish man who built his house upon the sand. And then the rain descended. Then the rain descended and the floods came and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. Okay, so let's have a look at why the therefore was there, because it's always interesting to see what the therefore is there for. So Jesus has just said, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, done many wonders in your name? And I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. Therefore, so Jesus is saying there's going to be a lot of born-again Christians that end up in hell, that he's going to say, depart from me, ye who practice lawlessness. Therefore, because I'm going to say to people, depart from me, you who practice lawlessness, therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house upon the rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall because it was founded on the rock. So Jesus is saying, if you don't want me to say, depart from me, ye who practice lawlessness, then you need to obey my commands. You need to found your life on my commands. When Jesus is saying these sayings of mine, he's talking about his teachings, his commands. John, the Apostle John, in his epistles, says that the commands aren't burdensome. He also says that lawlessness is not obeying God. And so practicing lawlessness is acting outside of the law, living a life that's outside of the law. And if you can understand that the commandments of Jesus are called the law of love. This is Jesus' 50 commands, and I hope you've looked them up so far and put them on your fridge. Jesus' 50 commands is how to demonstrate love. It's how to practice love. So when Jesus says, love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, soul, and spirit, and love your neighbor as yourself, how you love God and how you love your neighbor as yourself is you practice and put into play the 50 commands of Jesus Christ. And Jesus is saying, therefore, whoever hears these 50 commands of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man. Now, it's interesting. He says, whoever hears these 50 commands and does them, it's not knowing them. It's not, it doesn't save you knowing what Jesus taught. It doesn't save you being able to quote Bible verses. It doesn't save you quoting the Bible. What saves you is doing them. John 14:21, he who has my commandments and keeps them is he who loves me, and he who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and manifest myself to him. So when we're talking about depart from me, I never knew you, this wouldn't apply to someone that it says, I will love him and manifest myself to him. If Jesus says that his Father and himself will love you and that Jesus will manifest himself to you, when Jesus manifests himself to you and loves you, then he definitely knows who you are. And he knows who you are because you obey his commandments. He who has my commandments, and most Christians, 95% of Christians don't have his commandments. So he who has my commandments, the way that you have his commandments is look up the 50 commandments of Jesus on Google and print out that article on eZine Articles. He who has my commandments and keeps them, it is he who loves me, and he who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and manifest myself to him. And so Jesus is teaching here that if you obey his commandments, he will manifest himself to you. And how does he manifest? Well, you develop the character of Jesus as you keep on taking every thought captive, as you keep on discerning what decisions to make with your life based on what scripture says and based on what the epistles say and what the commandments of Jesus say. As you sift and sort what decisions you make according to what Jesus taught, you start to develop the mind of Christ and you start to develop the character of Jesus. The more you obey Jesus, the more you understand him, the more you know how he thinks. And the more you obey him, you realize that he's smart and his ways are best, and his ways always work out the best way. And as you obey him, you found your life upon the rock. The rock isn't Peter. The rock is the fact that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And Jesus said that he is the way, the truth, and the life in John 14:16. He says that no one comes to the Father except through him. So the way to the Father, the way to heaven is through Jesus. And the way to live the proper life is to live your life based on the teachings and the commands of Jesus Christ. And so there's a storm coming, like I've mentioned, in the next couple of years. I believe things are going to get very terrible on earth, and people are going to be refined. The Christian church, the people who attend church, the people who call themselves Christians, born again Christians, all sorts of Christians, the Christian church is going to be refined and put through some heat. And you could say that there's going to be a storm and the winds are going to blow and the floods are going to come. And the Christians that are obeying Jesus, that are hearing Jesus, that have got an intimate relationship with Jesus, they'll be refined, but they'll make it through. But everyone who hears these commands of Jesus and does not do them is like a foolish man who built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was the fall. And I just want to warn you personally. I want to take this moment to warn you that in the coming years, this flood is going to come. And these rains are going to come down and beat down, and this flood is going to arrive. And if you haven't founded your life on Christ, if you hadn't founded your life on the teachings of Christ, not just lip service, then you're going to be in trouble. Jesus said, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. These are two scriptures that Jesus talks about current Christians. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. So many people say they're Christians, but they have no idea what Jesus taught and have no inclination or no intention of doing what Jesus taught. A lot of people know what Jesus taught. A lot of people have an idea of what Jesus taught. He certainly taught not to gossip, and he certainly taught to forgive your enemy and turn the other cheek. That they have an inclination, they have an understanding of what Jesus taught, but they refuse to do it. The time for disobeying Jesus is running out, and people are going to come under some judgment and have some trouble spring up. There's going to become a real storm that's going to come to the world, and you've got to be obeying Jesus and listening to Jesus and have an intimate relationship with Jesus to be able to make it through. I've got a book, and one of my books on how to hear from God. And I encourage you not only to download the 50 Commands of Jesus and download the other 3 books I mentioned, but I encourage you to download the book that How to Hear from God, and start to obey Jesus and start to practice hearing God before these hard times hit us. If you enjoyed this video, press a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this video, press thumbs down. I encourage you to make a comment on this video, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, I encourage you to do so.